Ooh, here's the new Wacom Cintiq 24 HD Touch. There's only 4 prototypes available in the country right now. I'm going to see what kind of damage I can do to this one. They'll be on sale later in August. This is the early August right now. So I'm going to start sketching a face. So here I am using ArtRage, and I'm using the pencil tool to put my construction lines down, which are very important in a drawing because they allow me to locate measuring points and proper location for things like eyes, nose, lips, mouth, eyebrows, ears, so they're all in proportion and resemble a human face to some extent. So you should always use construction lines, even if you're not doing realistic drawings, something cartoony. You still need these points because as you draw a character from different positions, these points are the same. So you can see there the canvas turned over, rotated, and that's because this is a multi-touch screen and it's sensitive to touch. So I'm drawing directly on the screen, much like you do with the Cintiqs that are available now, but now this is sensitive to touch and not just the stylus. So even though at times I'm resting my hand on the screen, which you shouldn't do even when you're drawing on paper or canvas, that time I kind of swiped it with my palm, and that's why it rotated. So that's one of the advantages of the multi-touch screen and drawing, is that you can rotate while you're in progress, just as you would a real sheet of paper or a canvas in real life. Now here I'm laying down a medium tone for the skin color, and I'm not really trying to be very neat or anything like that. I'm just trying to get blocks of color down, and it's almost like sculpting it out. And I remember the first sculpture class I took, I didn't want to take it because I didn't think I had any use for it, because I draw on paper or paint on paper or canvas, and never saw the need for a sculpture class, but it was a requirement. So I took it, and I'm glad I did, because it helped me to really learn to think dimensionally and and it improved my drawing, because I started thinking more in terms of space and not just these lines that I was putting down on a flat surface. And that's another thing. If you're thinking that you're just drawing on a flat surface, then you do have flat drawings. But if you're thinking that you're drawing something that operates in a space, then your drawing starts to come alive and starts to inhabit that space. So I highly recommend a sculpture class at least once, just to expand your thinking. And I've blocked in my basic color. I'm putting in the hair now, and I've created another layer. So actually right now I've created 3 layers. The first layer has the sketch that I did, and the second layer has the color, and this layer is going to be my line layer, where I'm putting down a holding line for the color, because I'm going to be doing this very quickly. Don't have time to do like a really finished painting. I'm adding a holding line to make this look better. And also, even though I'm saying holding line again, from the sculpture class that I took, it's always good not to think of it as a line, because the line, if you think of it as a line, then again you're thinking flat, you're thinking in a way that is totally two-dimensional, and it's not advantageous to your drawing. So I learned during the sculpture class that a line is not a line. It's a contour, it's an edge, it's a form that turns and bends in space. And once you orientate your thinking toward that, then when you are drawing a line drawing, you are thinking of it as a contour and an edge. And it helps you to create a drawing that has some dimensionality to it, and doesn't just lay there flat on the page or the canvas or paper. Starting to go in and add some details to the eyes, because the eyes are the windows of the soul, and they are the focus of this drawing here. And you see I'm making various adjustments to the brush. I'm changing the taper so I can put some eyelashes in. I mean, you can't see from this distance, but there are some eyelashes in there. And you can see that there is some smoothing. I'm taking that down a little bit because it's smoothing more than I want to. So I'm in complete control. ArtRage allows me to do that. And just the same, I would change the pressure on a brush, the smoothing, trying to take some of the control away from the software. Put it back in my hand because this is a very intuitive tool. You can just sit down and start using it. That's with ArtRage, and also with this multi-touch Cintiq. This is very smooth. It has a nice feel to it. I mean, I can't really tell any difference other than that smoothing thing, because it's responding very well at the exact speed that it would if I was drawing on paper or a canvas. And I like that. It's also, you have to consider your processor speed and your memory. So if you don't have that up to snuff, then you are going to experience a delay, and you can't blame it on the hardware. On the Cintiq, I should say. As you can see, I've laid in various shades. So now I have 2 shadow shades. You can see I'm laying in a darker shade right now, and that helps pop out the head. So you can see that shadow really helps separate that from the body. So again, you're trying to avoid flatness and give it some sense that this is operating in space. So I'm doing it here. One thing, I don't know why I did this, or why I didn't do it, I should say, because normally I put the skin under the hair. I don't stop there. For some reason I stopped at the hairline, because I like doing things in layers, and having the skin under the head, which is the way it is in real life, and then putting the hair on top is what I usually do. I think because I'm trying to do this quickly, I didn't do that in this case. So now I'm putting little shadows under the lip to separate it so it's not just one big blob, and get this done. And shadow under the lip to separate that from the face, because there are shadows, and some highlights. And now I think I'm going to start blending these areas together, so that now we don't have these blobby shapes. It's amazing how, these blobby shapes, become, pretty good looking drawing at the end. But, at the beginning, it just looks like, ooh, what in the world is going on here? I'm using the palette knife in ArtRage to smooth this together. I mean, it's just like using the palette knife in the real life, because I did use the oil paint brush to create this. I thinned it out so it works kind of like watercolor. And unlike real oil paint, I don't have to wait 6 months, to keep going on top of everything. So it's definitely an advantage. So you can see, that the smoothing is working pretty well. And it's starting to be not so harsh and horsey and glaring and garish. And so I'm going in now, adding some highlights, to the hair. And also I recognize that nose. It looks like the nose of a girl I knew in high school who liked me. I liked her too, but not in the way she wanted me to, because she looked like me. She looked more like my sister than my sisters did. And I just couldn't do it, because there was another couple in our high school who looked like they were brothers and sisters. And I and other people thought it was pretty creepy. I wondered, don't they notice? And so with this young lady in high school, I definitely noticed that she looked like me. And other people noticed also. And I just couldn't do it. I mean, she was nice and all, but I just couldn't do it. And then later on, she was an underclassman, and I say that because later on when I graduated, she asked for one of my graduation pictures. I had given them all out, so I took the one photo that I had left to a photo place to have it duplicated. And when I went to pick it up, it was not there. It turned out that there was a plane crash, and all the film that was on that flight, got burned up. So there was no way to replace it. And the only other photo I had access to was my mother's, and she was not giving that up because that was large, one of those large ones, and I was just trying to duplicate a small one. And I should have handled the situation differently and told her that, but instead I just never called her back. So the stupidity of youth. I should have just told her what happened, but it just sounds so unbelievable that I didn't think she would believe me, because I couldn't believe it myself. So in any case, back to the drawing, which is coming along nicely. Again, I'm focusing on the eyes. I want to bring the eyes out because they are the focus of my drawing. Those are what I want you to look at first. So I'm giving them some attention and darkening them and putting a little highlight so that you can see them. They say the eyes are the windows of the soul, and also the eyes are used a lot in acting, so you can portray a lot of emotion in the eyes. That's what I'm doing here, trying to show some emotion. Videographer Patrick has said that this looks like a ex-girlfriend he had that was from Jamaica, I think. So, which girl does this remind you of? So hopefully there's a few people that can see somebody that they're remembering here. Now I'm going to bring out the nose, put some more dimensionality in that. So you can see just some small touches, some contrast, adds to it. So, I have like 3 different shades of shadows that I've used. I'm softening this now a little bit too much. And some people like to go from dark to light to build out their drawing. I like to go from light to dark. So maybe one day I'll try drawing and see how that works, because I noticed in light to dark, from dark to light, it's almost like carving out from a sculpture. So it may be interesting to try that. So as you can see, I darkened the eyelashes and I darkened just the rim around the hairline because the hairline kind of frames the face. So I like to do that as a little touch. It's just like a lot of little subtle things and things that I've developed or learned over the years. Now I'm adding another layer here, and I'm going to start putting in the background so it's separated from this white harsh light. But first I want to erase some of the mistakes that I've made, and so since this layer is on the line layer, I can do that without disturbing any of the color work that I've done. I've turned off the sketch layer so you can no longer see that. And now I'm going to start with the background and bring that out a little bit. This multi-touch Cintiq, which is different from the Cintiqs that are already out, is very good. I like it. I haven't used multi-touch functions because I got so absorbed in the drawing. So I'll have to correct that after I finish this. I'm adding a rim light because he wants to add the background that wasn't working that well. And so this helps separate it from the background also. Now, the first instinct may be also to add a rim light to the chin, but this is farther away from the light source, and I don't think I need it here. I think what I have works well. So I'm just going to add the rim light to the arm to separate that from the background more, and I think that will do. So let me touch up some other things. You can see some of the blue is bleeding through. And so, the drawings basically finish here. Here you can see the setup. So if you like this, then it's definitely worth buying. I definitely give it a good recommendation. And as I finish up my drawing here. So just add another layer of color. Okay, here I'm using the multi-touch function to bring in the canvas and rotate at the same time. So this is something you can do while you're in the process of drawing. A little help I got from my assistant, who was just concentrating on just using the multi-touch functions. Okay, so here you have a painting that's already done. This is not my painting. Don't know where it came from. Some other artists that my assistant brought in. Brought into artwork. So now, here you have the screen, and with your fingers you can shrink, rotate, zoom, move, just with your fingers. So you have a lot of flexibility, just like as you would if you were drawing on paper using a canvas. And obviously, you can still paint with a stylus. But in addition to that, you're doing the strokes with that because it is multi-touch. You can use your finger to smear the paint along. Just like you would in real life if you wanted to, because sometimes you have to get down and dirty and get in there and work with it. So now also, you can choose a layer, choose transform layers, and you can change the layers individually with multi-touch and rotate, zoom, move, shrink, and enlarge, all with just one layer. So you have a lot of flexibility here, which ArtRage gives you because it responds to multi-touch screens. So you can use a lot of the advantages that the screens monitors will provide you. Now here with the ruler, you can do the same manipulation with it, and draw along the ruler's edge. Also, this is good for perspective. You can keep it at a pivot point, just like as you would do in real life. So thank you for watching. Remember to just create, subscribe, tell people about it, share, and rate. So thank you for coming. And now you see the finished drawing. And that's it for today. Bye.